In the previous video, I showed you how to create footnotes and endnotes. In this video, I'll show you how to change them. I'm working with the file called Employee Manual with Footnotes, which you can find in the Chapter 5 folder. It's the same file as the one in the previous video, but I've added one more footnote, so there's a little bit more to work with. I want to run through the changes you can make to footnotes and endnotes. First off, to delete a footnote or endnote, simply delete the reference character in the document. Let's try that. In the References ribbon, I'll click Next Footnote to zip to the first footnote in the document. And here it is right here. Note that I want to delete the character in the document, not the character in the footnote. So I want to delete this, not this. I'll select the character and press backspace. Both the character and the footnote disappear. If I go to the next footnote, you'll see that that is now number 1. Now I didn't really want to do that, so I'm going to press Ctrl-Z to undo it and bring it back. Of course, you can edit a footnote by simply clicking anywhere in the footnote text and making changes to it. So maybe I want to change the number 20 here to the word 20. I can double-click it to select it and type in the new word. You can also change the font formatting of footnotes. But rather than do each one individually, it's best to modify the footnote style that's applied to every footnote in the document. I'm going to right-click on the footnote text here, and then choose Style. This brings up the Style dialog with the currently applied style selected. I'd like to modify this so that the text is in a smaller font size, so I'll click Modify. And then I'll choose a smaller font size, maybe 10 points up here. I can make other changes in here too, but that's all I want to do for this one, so I'll click OK. And then click Close. And the text gets smaller. The font size is reduced for all of the footnotes in the document, and you can use the same technique to change the footnote reference style if you wanted to change the appearance of the reference character in the document. You can also change options for footnotes and endnotes in your document. Right-click on any of the footnote areas in your document, and then choose Note options from the menu that appears. This displays the footnote and endnote dialog. Because I right-clicked in a footnote area, Footnotes is selected in the location settings. You could use the menu beside the option here to set where the footnote should appear, bottom of the page, which is the normal position, or below text, which puts the footnote beneath the footnote reference. We'll leave it set to bottom of page. The footnote layout option enables you to specify how many columns footnotes should appear in. Normally, you'd leave this set to match section layout so the footnote area corresponds in column formatting to the section it's in. We don't need to change this. Format options let you change the formatting of footnote numbers or symbols. You could choose a different number format, perhaps letters or Roman numerals, from this menu. We'll give this a try by changing the numbers to lowercase letters. If you'd like to use a specific symbol, for example an asterisk, you can enter it in the custom mark box. Or if you prefer, you could use the symbol button and use the dialog box that appears to pick a different symbol. When you enter a character in the custom mark box, you can no longer choose a number format or start number. I don't want that, so I'll delete the character. If you use numbers or letters, you could specify the start value. This might be helpful if this document is one in a series that is not linked with the master document feature, which I discussed earlier in this course. If the previous document's last note was 7 and you wanted the numbers to continue in this document, you could enter 8. I don't recommend doing that though, because it's easy to mess up footnote numbering when Word isn't doing it automatically for you. The numbering menu lets you specify whether you want the footnotes continuously numbered throughout the document, restarted at each section, or restarted on each page. I'll leave it set to continuous. And finally, the Apply Changes menu lets you specify whether changes in this dialog should apply to the entire document or only certain sections. This document only has one section, so there aren't any section-related options. If you've made changes in this dialog box, you could click the Apply button to apply them in your document. We haven't made any changes we want to keep, so I'll click Cancel. Now there's one more thing I want to show you. Remember in the last video when I said that it isn't likely that you'd had footnotes and endnotes in the same document? This document contains both. Let's change that by turning the endnote into a footnote. We'll go to the end of the document where the endnotes are. I'll press Control-End. And here it is. There's just one of them. There are two ways to convert this to a footnote. If you only want to turn one endnote into a footnote, you can use the Convert to Footnote command. Just right-click on the endnote, and in the menu that appears, choose Convert to Footnote. Word converts the note to a footnote, and it moves to the place in the document where it has been inserted. Because it's been inserted between the second and third footnote, it's numbered 3. The third footnote is now the fourth footnote. I want to show you another way to do this, so let's undo that change. I'll press Ctrl-Z. This time, right-click on the endnote and choose Note Options. The Footnote and Endnote dialog box appears again. This time, it's set up for endnotes since that's what I right-clicked. Click the Convert button. The Convert Notes dialog box appears. You have 3 options: convert all footnotes to endnotes, convert all endnotes to footnotes, and swap footnotes and endnotes. Each of these are pretty self-explanatory. We only want footnotes in this document, so select the second option, convert all endnotes to footnotes. And then click OK. Word makes the conversion and scrolls to the first footnote. I can close the dialog. Now let's review the footnotes from the beginning. I'll press Control-Home to get to the beginning of the document, and on the References ribbon, I'll click Next Footnote to display the first footnote. So that's the first footnote, the second footnote, the third footnote, which used to be an endnote, and the fourth footnote. All of the footnotes are numbered properly. You can insert footnotes or endnotes at any time while you're creating your documents. Word automatically handles the numbering, although as we've seen in this video, you can override some of Word's options. Best of all, the footnotes and endnotes are inserted right where you'd expect them to be, all without any added effort on your part.